I'm going to talk about the rifles now and cleaning these ones. A little bit more detail in the rifles from an educational point of view, but we're not going to go sort of into town too much with it all. So these Milicons, these are great battle rifles, and we really, really like these ones. Just on the quick one, semi-automatic, carbine, upper and a lower. We're going to split the upper and lower first. As usual, make sure the rifles are clear of ammunition and so forth. Make sure they're deemed safe. Now, you've got two pins. You've got a front and a back, top and a bottom in this case. One of them is here. You have to do one first towards the bottom of the stock. So push this one in and then pull it out. What happens when you do that is the pins, these won't come out. They stay inside. You can split the upper and the lower. We always do recommend that you point the muzzle down for these bits because everything comes towards the ground. And then to separate the upper and the lower, you're going to push the same pin again, this one here, this towards the bottom. Usually on a bit of an angle, so give it a wiggle, keep pushing, and eventually you'll feel it start to give. There it is. Once it starts to give, you can pull it, and then you separate your upper and the lower. Tie it up there. Now, your lower, worth taking a little look at real quickly. It's your hammer. So you take the safety off and you pull the trigger. I won't do it dry. Pull the trigger, and that thing comes flying up. Bang, hits your firing pin, and off it goes. If you look inside of these, they never get dirty, really. Unless you've been in loads of mud or sand or something like that, they don't get dirty. This is your buffer spring. This we are going to take out for educational purposes. We don't always need to clean these, but if you find that when you're racking the rifle and you hear lots of gritty or metal sound, I bet you it's that there. So to take this out, you normally use a tool. You can use anything you want, but on the buffer spring, you'll see it's a circle, and there's a few flat edges. I don't know if you'll see that, but there's some flat edges. Spin the buffer so the flat edge is towards this pin that's here. And that pin is on a spring. Push that spring in, and voila, that comes flying out. Feel that, and I can feel there's a residue on that. So we will give that a clean. There's part number one. Your lower, leave that to one side. If I can actually see that there's grit and sand in there. So we'll give that a bit of a clean as well. So we always count. At the minute, we've got 1, 2, 3 parts. Next bit, we're going to take the bolt carrier group out. That's this bit here. Pulling on the charging handle up. This won't come out. You got to pull the bolt first. It's flying out. And the charging handle comes out on an angle and up into the sky. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts now. Have a look inside here. Run your fingers up it. I can feel it's like sandpaper. We want that to be smooth. But putting that down just for a second. And what we're not doing on this video is cleaning moderators. We'll talk about that on a separate date. Now, looking at my bolt, I can clearly see, hopefully you can see it on the video, it is full of, I can't explain what it feels like. It's like a dry Play-Doh. It's kind of weird. That is what's going to eventually build up and cause problems. So keeping on top of the maintenance is good. Battle rifles like these, you can run them forever and they don't seem to fail, but it's worth keeping on top of it, and it's good from a mechanical perspective. Now, bolt carrier group, what you're going to need, usually we use a round because it's just a little bit easier for this bit. So you can get yourself a bullet, or if you've got a needle, a spring, a pen, something like that, because you need to take out your firing pin retainer, which is this little split pin here. So you put something in there, pop this thing up, and you get a retainer, a split pin. There's that bit there. Now, tipping the bolt upside down, out comes your firing pin. That's your firing pin. This one's meant to be black, but it's starting to turn silver from constant use and cleaning. Rest most time. So there's that piece. Now you've got your cam. So that's your bolt, that bit there. Your cam is this bit. If you can see this rectangle shape moving forward and back, that bit there. That comes out one way. Twist that 90 degrees. So it's away from the gas block here. You can pull that straight out. Right there. And then give this a bit of a tug. You got your bolt. There's your carrier, your bolt carrier group, and there's the actual bolt. Now, most really important thing. This is like a piston on a petrol engine. This is literally a piston. That bit there. It's upside down. You got these piston rings here, these little washers. Do not break them. You run guns in. This is what this carbon buildup is here. When you run your finger along the bottom here, you'll feel it's like the moon's surface. You will never get that to factory settings. You don't want to either. So when we're cleaning this, we're just taking off the top layer. So as you can see on this bolt, hopefully, you see it's dull and it's greasy and gritty. So again, same as we always focus on the bolt first. So putting that to one side, I've currently got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. 9 pieces is as far as we go, unless we tell you otherwise. So again, brake cleaner, give everything a spray, give it a wipe with your dirty thing. So giving that a one over all these bits outside the bolt. Now on the inside of here as well, where the bolt actually goes. And then we're going to give it all nice rub down. If you use a 9mm bore cleaner, it fits really well inside. You'll get in there quite well. Again, same as the pistol, make sure that they're dry. If they're not dry, the oil won't work very well. And as you can see, look at that now compared to how it was. I'll try and get a before and after picture on that one, but it looks nice. The bolt as well looks nice and free of carbon and lots of stuff. The bolt face, quite important, where the firing pin comes out of there. That's nice and clean. That'll stop you getting failure to fires and things like that. That's good. Now we go through the oil process again. Oil, por favor. Same as the pistol. Now, really important. You can over oil these. And when you over oil a bolt, you can have what's rare but is known to happen as something called a catastrophic boom. And what that is where the oil takes up all of the free space inside the breech and the chamber. When you pull the trigger, it will go bang, but this time it's going to split the casing as well, and it can potentially hurt you. So the oil, like I said, it is only a barrier. These will work without oil, but they won't last very long. You'll burn them out, right? A little bit on your finger, give the outside literally a shine. I don't want to put it on here because it's full of dust and grit and stuff like that. So get one of your rags and put your oily stuff on the rag because it stops you from collecting all the stuff off the floor then. I've still got oil on my hands, so a bit of oil on here. And again, when you put too much oil on things, as you're firing it, the carbon and the blowback that you get is going to catch and it sticks. And then people are like, oh, my rifle got so dirty within, 60 rounds. And it's like, yeah, it's probably because you've got shit tons of oil on it. Okay, now I'm going to put my bolt back together. I should have 9 pieces before I put it back together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I've got 9 pieces. Great. Bolt carrier and your bolt. 11 o'clock, meaning the extractor up there, 11 o'clock. That will line up the top hole where your cam goes. Once that goes in, just give it a, seems to be okay. Make sure it's where it needs to be. Where your cam is, I can line up the holes. Cam goes in horizontally first. Once it's gone in, give it a pull, turn that thing 90 degrees, and we're good. Firing pin, in it goes. And I want to make sure that I put some pressure on the back of the pin, and where my split pin went, I want to look through it and make sure that I can see daylight. When I'm putting my split pin in, I'm going to make sure that I don't force it. You will have to give it a little bit of a push and maybe twist a little bit because some of these split pins split a bit too much. But when it goes in on the open side, push it through, making sure your firing pin is all the way in, give it a bit of a turn, and hopefully if you get it right straight away, it'll fall straight through. Now, on some rifles, these do protrude a little bit. That's okay. As long as it's in, you're good to go. Now, once you've got to this stage, worth advice, push this thing in and out. Good. It's moving much freer than it was a minute ago. And then with it in, hold it and give it a shake carefully first. I should hear that sound. That means my firing pin is loose and it should be working fine. I've put a little bit of oil on that. When you're putting these springs back into the buffer, the stock, just literally in it goes and push. And that's it. It should naturally sort of land where it needs to be anyway. And that is much cleaner and smoother. Muzzle down, get your charging handle. Charging handle goes in, and there's like a groove. I don't know if you can see it, but it won't go in like this. It doesn't go in. You got to go in through the breech, find the hole, and line it up, and then you can hold it up in this guy. Now, important bit, you've got to flick your bolts out. Make sure that the bolt is out, or it won't go in. Nose, so the gas block goes inside the charging handle there. And then when you're bringing it in, don't just drop it in, drop it to where you feel it stopped, like so. And to make sure you've got it all in correctly, push the bolt in, not the charging handle, and it'll all follow through. Hence, like that. That's then good to go. Lower, back on, push that pin in, lift it up. Now when we're doing this, it should go on like this. Listen, smooth. Sometimes you'll do this and it'll go and it'll stop. doesn't want to go on. What you don't want to do is force things. Don't just go, oh, sick. You'll likely break something. As battle ready as these things are, they're only good when they're being used correctly. So when you bring it up, it should just go in nicely. Push, and that's good. That's good again, okay? Same as the pistol. What I'm not going to do is just straight up start racking it and being aggressive with it, because if I've got something wrong, I'm going to find out now quite quickly. And we've had it in the past where students have got ahead of themselves and broke things in this process here. So now what I need to do is make sure that things are working smoothly first. So I'm going to pull my charging handle and just make sure that it sounds and feels smooth. Great. Doesn't sound, I can't hear any grit. And it doesn't feel like anything's restricting me from movement. So now give it a little bit more. Seems to work fine. Does my safety work? So my safety's currently on. Yeah, safety off. Yeah, that works. Keep the trigger compressed. Rack it. Does my sear work? My reset. Yeah, safety back on. Does my bolt catch and release work? That works. Release. That works. Using an empty mag. Does the empty mag catch? It does. Once you're happy that it's working, then you're good to go. That's it. Just make sure, again, you've got no oil on the outside of the rifle. So make sure you give it a really good wipe over. And that's pretty much it.